I love the first episode of a new show, and I kind of hate it because it's so difficult to know where it's going. Uh, uh, so okay. Instead of me babbling about that, I'm gonna try to dive kind of straight in. The first question we have is from Lina Anderson. She's 27 and from Gothenburg in Sweden, where she works as a marketing coordinator. And her question is, I feel stuck doing executional task. How do I position myself to be as a strategic, seen as strategic and ready for the next step? Well, Lena, that's difficult in some way, but if you want to, this is about personal branding, at least to a certain extent. uh, if you want your colleagues or managers to see what you are capable of doing, you're gonna have to assume that they probably read your CV. They know you, and they probably feel that you're really good doing what you're doing. And it's like, if I was a football coach and I hired you primarily to be the right back, and you're doing a great job as the right back, but your ambition is to be the center forward. Now, that's kind of on you, because although I do see the talent you might possess, at the end of the day, you are fulfilling a job I need done. And if you disappear, I'm going to have to find someone new. Now, that doesn't mean that this is impossible. It's not necessarily even difficult. But my point is that you have to showcase your ability. Now, if you want to work in strategy, uh, I suggest that you sit down with your manager and talk to them about your ambitions, because if they are good managers, at the end of the day, they want talents to stay. Now, if they see you as a talent, they're going to want to hang on to you in the business. And from a teaching point of view, which is where I come from, I would say that the first thing we do when someone new comes in, obviously, I'm going to believe you have the talent you need. And the first thing I'm going to try to teach you is what you need to get the job done, the job I need you to do. After that, I'm going to try to help you become really good at it, specialize in all the processes that you need to do. But if I'm a good manager, I'm going to have an idea that I want to keep you as your professional career develops. So I'm going to sit down with you and ask you what kind of specializations, where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself in 5, 6, 7 years? You need to have that conversation with your managers. You need to explain to them that you have further ambitions within the subjects you're already working on, but you need to explain to them that, okay, this is where I want to go with my career. And then maybe, if they are good managers, you're going to have a great conversation about it, and you can sit down. Okay, this is where I want to go. And if they are good, they'll have some idea of which possibilities they have today in the company, and maybe which possibilities they foresee in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in the company. And together you can start, I don't know, develop some kind of educational program to make sure that you can have a clear path, a runway to where you want to go. So the easy answer is that to position yourself for a more strategic role, you have to take the initiative. But you don't have to start sending them emails or newsletters, or try to be subtle about it. Don't be subtle. Say, I want to develop, and this is the way I do want to develop. Furthermore, you have, I can see you have written a little more. You say that, how do I politely push back on tasks that don't help me grow? Now, this is a difficult one, because, as I said, if I hire the right back, but your ambition is to be the center forward, good for you, good on you, love it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to need you to do these tasks as well. So what you want to do is to make sure that it kind of falls back to the idea of having a personal development program for you. And I mean, like, not personal, professional development program. Like, okay, as I said, when I do it for people I work with, it's always the onboarding. It's the getting up to grips, um, be really good at what you do, and then the specialization. And for me, obviously, if if someone's going to develop, you're going to need time to do it. So what I would do as a manager in such a situation is to make sure that um, that your specialization, let's call it that, is brought into your day-to-day routine, and that it's time for it. So basically means that we're going to remove a couple of the tasks that you are doing today, but not more than that we get to execute the job clients pays us to do, at the same time as we keep working on your next move. Um, next move. So in short, everything kind of falls back on you, and that might seem like peculiar advice, but at the end of the day, it's like, if you want better health, if you want to run more, if you want to be a better golfer, if you want to be a better professional, it's up to you. You need to initiate it. On the other hand, if this is a really good company, they probably going to have some sort of educational program. Look into it, see what it is, and that's worst case, you have to do it on your spare time, but still, that's how we develop. There is no, we can't ask, we should anticipate, we should expect that our employers want us to be all we can be, but it's not that simple. If they don't have an educational program, that's on us. We chose to work there. Yeah. So in short, A, if you're lucky, they have an educational program. Look into it, get into it, and start utilizing it. B, if they don't, sit down with a manager and explain where you want to go and how you can achieve that together. Because, as I said, at the end of the day, the business has a financial incentive to help you grow, because you'll be a better producer for them going forward. Finally, I see that you are asking if it's too early to ask for a mentor, and how do I go about finding one? Well, obviously, you have thought about it, because when you ask, is it too early to ask, and then how do I go about? So you've decided to do something about it. Finding a mentor, it's again, you can start off with the company and see if they have a mentor program. If they do, obviously that's a good place to start. If not, I'd suggest that you use your LinkedIn profile, and try to find someone on your own that you A, want to emulate, or B, you see have gone the path that you want to go, or C, just find someone that you feel that can help you develop your career. Obviously, it's going to have to be a personality match and stuff like that. But there's a lot of them. I think if you look into executive coaches or mentors on LinkedIn, you're probably going to have a couple of million hits. So there's a lot of people that claim they are mentors. If not, you can reach out to me. So so for that, so thank you, Linda Anderson. I do hope this was at least to some extent sound advice. So we have David Thompson. He's 35 years old and he's from Manchester in UK, and he's a sales manager in tech. Um, I went from being a top seller to managing people. How do I avoid avoid becoming a micromanager? Well, I'd say that that depends a lot of your personality and your need to control the whole process. It depends on the capacity in the team you have. Your personality is the difficult one, because if you are a micromanager by nature, it's going to be difficult to do something about it. But since you ask, I'd say if you want to avoid becoming a micromanager, you're going to make sure you have to make sure that the team you manage are good. The fact is that micromanaging is usually a consequence of you not having faith or trust in the team you manage. So again, going back, this this kind of sounds a little repetitive when compared to I spoke to about Lena, but again, but this time you are the manager. So there is the four point fork. I don't know how to say it to explain it, but you're going to have to make sure that everyone in your team is properly onboarded. And with onboarded, I mean like they know everything they need to know. And in sales, are they do they know the systems you're using? Do they know the playbooks you are using? Do they know the how you prospect? Do you, also all these things, are they good at it? Have you have you made sure that all of those things are in place? Because if they are, you can move on to the next part. The next part is to make sure that they get better at what they're doing. Now, you're not saying what kind of sale you're doing, but if it's telephone, well, work on your telephone skills. If it's using email, networking, challenging, whatever it is, you're going to have to, break down the processes that your team are going through when you're working sales and work on them. And you have to do that individually. It's like back to the footballing team. The goalkeeper has a certain set of skills and tasks and needs to train accordingly. Likewise, for the attacking players, they have a certain set of skills and need to train accordingly. So what you're going to have to do is to sit down individually with everyone in your team and make sure that they are familiar and knows all the things that's important, the business culture, your the set of value in the business, your products, so that all these things are in place. Number two, that they are really good at the processes they need to be good at. And if they're not, you're going to have to, you can start helping them and get them better, or B, you have to engage the rest of the company. Maybe it's an HR department, something. Um, when If you want them to stay and to make sure they are motivated, you should probably add a C moment here as well, and that's for them to specialize, to become better at something. Because in my experience, most people have some sort of ambition, and if you as their manager can A, help them, be familiarized with your company, B, be really good at what they do, and C, help them become a further asset for the company. It's in your interest, it's in the company's interest, and it's in your colleagues or employees' interest. And furthermore, if you know that everyone knows what they have to do and you know they're really good at it, you don't really have to micromanage it. So the easiest way to avoid micromanaging is to make sure your team is good. And then you go on, David, and write that my team is remote. What are your best tips for creating team culture and accountability? Now that's difficult. In a remote team, to make sure that everyone feels part of the same organization, and shares the same values. You might even work in different markets. It becomes really, really difficult. It's like we always say that learning is um, is a three-step process in a business. First and foremost, you have what we call informal learning. Informal learning is not is it's all the things that's not written down. It's what you learn by observing. Company culture is one of them. The second one is what you learn because it's written down, and it is like manuals and instructions and stuff like that. And the third one is how to become good. So obviously, you don't really have access to the informal learning. I'd say that as a minimum, you have to kind of sit down and see what is the company values, because this is where that comes from. Values, goals, all these things. Where do the company want to go? What kind of goals do they have? How do they plan to achieve them? Because when you do that, you get to uh, it can be broken down to something that hopefully your colleagues will connect with. It's like, okay, we want to be the best service provider in the UK, in, I don't know, tech services. Uh, and in that process, we want to emulate IBM and we want to emulate Microsoft. Now, these are tangible goals. And when you have tangible goals, you can break them down to individual goals. How do each of your team benefit for the whole organization to reach these goals? Because what you're going to need to do to create culture is to make sure that the individual goals in the group are aligned with the organizational goals on the top. If each individ in your team sees how they benefit from the overall goals, they're going to feel connected to it. Now, that's kind of the main thing. You need to identify how your team connects with the overall plans and overall goals. Because if you can find that connection, you know what their motivation for being part of your organization is. And that's how you start to create culture. It's like in football, you win together. If the team's goal is to win the Champions League, your individual goal can obviously be to win the Champions League as well, but it can also be to be famous. It can be to make a lot of money. It can be to have a nice car. You see? So if the major company, if that their goal is to emulate Microsoft, well, the team goals can be to have a Ferrari, or 2 weeks in Mauritius, or have a new house. You have to break down the overall goals to individual goals and use that to motivate each team member and to make sure that they see the benefit of them reaching the goals together. Back to the footballing team. They're not going to win a game on their own. They'll win when they play together. If 11 players produces well, the whole team wins and they all get to reap the benefits of that success. Then, David, you go on to say, I'm expected to coach others, but no one coached me. Where do I start? Well, coach, where do you start? I'm going to assume in management theory, in leadership theory, one usually says that the most important thing for a leader in these kind of themes is to be good at what you do, because that will command respect in the group. So I'm going to assume that you are a good salesperson and you are chosen because of that. Now, obviously, just by pure talent, you can probably help your team. But I'd go back a little bit, and I'd try to make, as I said, I'm really into thinking of team as the sum of individuals. So I'd sit down with every member first and try to dissect their motivation, why they're here, all these things that we spoke on in the first piece, and try to set up individual programs for everyone. And I'd go to the manager and say, okay, I'm going to coach these people. I need some education in it. There are online classes, there are different theories, different techniques. You have everything from NLP to methodical coaching. You can draw inspiration from sports. You can go everywhere. The thing is that coaching is all about, the difference between learning and coaching is that learning is something new. Learning is by default learning something you didn't know before. Coaching, on the other hand, is different. Coaching is about honing your skills. Again, I'm going to use sports again as an example. It's like taking the free kick over and over and over again, adjusting the angle of your feet and hip and the run into the kick over and over and over again to make sure it's perfect. So when you coach people, you help them become the perfect version of something they're already doing. Yeah. So as I said, always, I'm going to wish you best of luck, and don't make it difficult. Start with the easy part. See them as individuals and help them become good as individuals. Make sure you connect it to the overall organizational goals so that everyone can feel benefit or see the benefits of the organization as a whole reaching their targets, and especially your team, because your team wins and loses together. If you meet your budget, what happens? How does that play back to the ambitions they have? And make sure to avoid um, becoming the micromanager. Well, it all plays on each other. If you're helping your teammates becoming the best versions of themselves, and everyone is on board chasing the same goals and dreams, you don't have to micromanage anything. But then on the other hand, you are a manager. Now you are uh, doing a good job. So hope that helps. I feel it was kind of rounded, but still good answer. So the person final question, because there's never just one. The final question of the day is from Maya Singh. She's 30. She's from Dublin in Ireland, and she works as an HR business partner. I'm involved in so many people problems. It's hard to find time to think strategically. How do I shift gears? Now, when you said like that, or obviously you wrote it like that, I'm going to assume that you have an ambition of accelerating your career into higher management. And this kind of reminds me of the problems that Lena had in the first question. You feel that you are overwhelmed with the tasks you're doing today and find it difficult to think forward and see a route where you are climbing the company ladder. It's the same as for Lena. You need to engage the company. You need to see which op- what kind of educational programs, learning programs do they have, uh, and as because if they have one, obviously engage in it and do the to take initiative and try to enroll yourself into it somehow. And most companies with a big HR department do have it. Now, if they don't, I'd sit down with my closest manager and explain that I do have some ambitions. I want to go further, and I want to go do that in this business. So how can I hone my skills, adapting them to the company's future needs? Because you're a team player, obviously, you want to be it. The best thing that can happen for this company is if they can recruit their next COO from inside their own company. It's going to cost them a hell of a lot less, and they're going to have someone that's operational and ready so much faster than anything else. So it's in their interest that you become better. And but that doesn't necessarily mean that they see everyone all the time. Again, it is like from Lena, if you are hired to do a certain set of tasks, they might be really happy because you are really good at it. So if you want to expand on that, you're going to have to take the initiative. Yeah. Well, then you go on to the next part of your question. What do great COOs do that HR people like me should start learning now? I think the obvious answer coming from me would be I'd get into learning and development and expanding on that, because The way I see it, and this is my point of view, there are so many other takes out there. So I'm not going to claim that this is right, or I find it right, but someone else might find it wrong. I'm going to claim that the learning and development department within an HR organization is the most important thing there is. Uh, and I'm going to say why. Because if you are good at learning and development, you can always make sure that your team is as good as it's going to be. You know, every player inside your organization is going to be amazing. It's going to be fucking amazing if they are highly motivated and are learning and specializing all over the place. They'll be great at doing the tasks they're going to do today, and everyone is working on becoming a specialist for the company tomorrow. So on the one hand, obviously, yeah, that alone will make sure that you have the best players. Now, if you have the best players, you're probably going to win more matches than you lose. And I'm calling it matches because it's a fight out there for assignments and everything. But what happens then next is that the best talents will look to you. They will want to be a part of your organization because if you're winning and you have all the best players, well, surprise, surprise, that's where everyone else want to be. So if your ambition is to go out and become a CEO and you really want to, do something that's great for the organization as a whole, be great at learning and development. That's it. Okay, finally, is it possible to build influence without a title? If so, how? Of course, everything is possible. The thing is that what makes it difficult, I can start in that end. What makes it difficult is that when you have the certifications or the diplomas and masters and degrees from universities, well, first of all, the university just tells the world that you know what you are supposed to know, which makes it a lot easier for a company to hire you. Secondly, they can sit down and see what kind of university. There's a difference between Harvard and the University of Oslo. And no, nothing bad about the University of Oslo. I love it. But at the end of the day, if a company can choose someone with a master from Harvard, they're probably going to do that because the school is recognized for producing excellent students or excellent workers. Well, the thing is that this is kind of like that's the path that everyone can see. No one can accuse an HR manager or a CEO for choosing someone with a master's degree or PhD from Harvard. You did right. They did right, and it minimized the risks they took when they hired someone or went with that solution. Does that mean it's impossible to build influence without title? No, obviously not. There are plenty of influencers on YouTube and everywhere without degrees or titles, but it's difficult because someone has to put their head on the block to use you. And fear is a much more important factor in people's decision making than happiness. Let me put it like this: from nature's point of view, it's more important that you are afraid of wolves than that you're happy to find apples. Now, apples are great and they taste good, but wolves will kill you. So it's important. It's more important to recognize fear. Now, if there's a risk in finding, hiring, or working with you, it makes things really difficult. But yeah, you can build influence without a title, but you have to prove it in other ways. So, well, that's it for today. This is the first show. I think it was great questions, and thank you so much to Maya and David and Lena who shared with us. And yeah, this is going to be interesting going forward, seeing where this ends. So thank you so much for listening or watching, and have